Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. We will do everything in our power to defend European unity in supporting Ukraine, despite circumstances, despite emotions. That was the message from Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk after the so-called E5 Leaders Summit in Berlin on Wednesday, where Europe's biggest military powers, Germany, the UK, Italy, France and Poland, sought to demonstrate unity ahead of next month's NATO summit in Ankara. But as NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte tried to reassure President Donald Trump in Washington, fresh disagreements over Iran and burden sharing highlighted just how difficult maintaining alliance unity may be. Joining us now to analyze it all is Renata Mieńkowska-Norkiene, expert Team Europe Direct. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Good morning. Good to be here. Thank you.
So let's start in Berlin, the E5, the Europe 5, as those countries I just mentioned. The first time all of these leaders have come together in this particular format. How much of an impact will that have? How significant is this? And what do you think the main thing was out of that meeting from Wednesday?
Yes, it's not the first meeting, of course, in this format, but this meeting was significant, in particular for Poland and Italy, because some time ago, not long ago, there was a meeting of E4 actually. So it's E3, if we could name it more precisely, because it was Great Britain, France, Germany and Ukraine, but without Poland and Italy. So this format E5 includes Poland and Italy. And this is significant because before this meeting, actually, Poland and Italy felt a little bit cast away, let's put it that way. So I think this was significant to show that in this format, that also Poland and Italy are included. And it does not depend as a format that much on the United States. This is also very important because other formats, they usually, apart from the European ones, of course, within the European Union, they are, though in this military area, they are usually somehow related to the United States. This format was there to send a signal to the United States. And among the 5 points that Friedrich Merz presented after the meeting, there was this declaration of an unconditional unity, let's put it that way, among those who participated in the meeting. So I think it was significant from many points of views, in particular vis-a-vis the United States and before the Ankara summit, and also taking into consideration the fact that parallelly we had a meeting of Donald Trump with Mark Rutte. All this was actually there to show unity, to show the will, to show no divisions or no significant divisions in investing into weaponry and military area and into security and defense. And also to show that we as the European Union, because these countries were mainly from the European Union plus Great Britain, although a tiny problematic aspect is that it's Keir Starmer's probably last meeting in this format, because he's going to step up as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Nevertheless, it was a signal sent that we are aware that in this format, we are aware of a necessity of supporting Ukraine, no matter divisions, no matter problematic aspects within NATO, which Trump underlines almost all the time, and no matter the situation within the, let's say, countries which participated, like United Kingdom in this case. So I think it was a significant meeting, in particular since it was also held in Germany, and Germany now is in a very specific situation because AfD gains a lot of impact and a lot of political support. We see that it's leading in opinion polls. But apart from that, also Germany has grown recently as one of the main countries to support Ukraine and also to support rebuilding, restoring Ukraine after the war, and maybe maintaining the process of achieving peace if Russia gets weakened and if it's willing to sit at the table.
Mm-hmm. And I think also that was probably one of the things discussed on representing and who represents Europe. But also I think it is unique to point out that in this E5 format, it was the first leader summit. So they did meet on various levels, ministerial, I think the foreign ministers, the defense ministers, but leaders, that was the first time. Let's jump over, you mentioned already the United States, Mr. Rutte, head of NATO, trying to reassure President Trump about, well, Trump's anger at some allies didn't help him out during the Iran conflict. How successful do you think Rutte was in smoothing things over just before we have that NATO summit in a very short time?
Yes, that's a very interesting question, because to understand Trump's mood, actually, even throughout this one press conference, it was very difficult to follow, not to speak about drawing conclusions, because Trump repeatedly basically accused European countries of not having supported him in strikes on Iran, which is not true. And Mark Rutte underlined that we can count thousands of planes, American planes, that took off from European airports, and that there was this support, let's say, to the certain extent, and Rutte underlined it to the extent which was conditioned by the fact that that within the alliance, so that allies hadn't been informed about the strikes. So, it's not so easy in this situation. Mark Rutte also presented some charts on which he quite clearly pointed out that European countries really raised their military spendings, and with even Germany, reaching 3.5 quite soon. So I think that he tried really to present tough numbers. I know that he used some rhetorical tricks as well by trying to ease Trump, and really praise him for even the tiniest thing. So this conciliation, let's say, bound tone was quite visible and present in almost every sentence of Mark Rutte. He praised Trump for making Europe actually militarize more and raise the spendings. But what Trump mentioned was actually that his presence at the Ankara summit depends the most on requests from Erdogan. And he pointed it out quite clearly that after his conversations with Erdogan, that Trump mentioned a few times he liked a lot, that he will appear in Ankara. So there was nothing particularly, warm, no warm message sent to the European allies. And I would say this is something that should worry us to some extent, but of course, just to some extent, because we know that Donald Trump's mood is something hard to predict. So we cannot state with certainty anything about results of this meeting.
At the same time, it's pretty clear, we've seen this before, Mark Rutte, with a lot of flattery with Donald Trump. We have to see, the jury is still out how successful it will be. But at the same time, I think you mentioned the charts, you mentioned the defense spending. I think he was actually also on an interview on Fox where he actually said, well, actually 500 planes went through Italy. And the Italians rejected that right away. So it's not 100% clear anyway. But moving quickly, if we can, just briefly, also to our region, to Poland, we have the Ukraine Recovery Conference that's happening on Thursday as well. At a very, let's say, challenging time for that relationship between Ukraine and Poland. What do you make of it? What do you think is going to come out of that recovery conference? Just briefly before we close today.
Yes, well, I put a lot of hope into Prime Minister of Ukraine, Ms. Svyrydenko, because I think that she will, she's a prime minister, so this is a prime minister's format, and absence of Volodymyr Zelenskyy is obviously quite clear, and it is a signal, it's symbolic, but nevertheless, we mustn't forget that the conference, also one of many held to support Ukraine and to send a signal that after Ukraine is a free country and the war is over, that it has to be supported in rebuilding, of course, and that it's an opportunity for many businesses all around Europe and also probably the world. So I think that she may be the one who will pretty wisely replace Zelenskyy, and maybe not that symbolically, but practically and pragmatically hold this conference and this responsibility that is now on her back mainly, which is pretty typical, by the way, in many situations when men or male sort of disappoint a little bit on those top posts, and women have to rescue the situation and step in when it's a really seriously problematic situation. So I think that if we treat it from a pragmatic point of view, this conference can actually be quite successful, and it's also a good signal for Poland, because even though we have this whole mess symbolically around the presence of Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Polish president's decision about taking the White Eagle from Zelenskyy, I think that at the end of the day, this should be rationally treated and rationally perceived. And this is an opportunity for the Polish businesses to participate in recovery of Ukraine, in rebuilding this country. And of course, we should perceive it this way, because if we just perceive it from the symbolic perspective, then we get to nowhere. So it's better just for a moment, put it aside, and just take a closer look at the pragmatic aspect of the conference. There will be, top officials from many countries from the European Union, and this is significant as well.
Yeah, and you said on the pragmatic side, apparently some 200 agreements are supposed to be signed. Let's see how pragmatic that will be at the end of the day. Look, we'll close it there. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Renata Mieńkowska-Norkiene from Team Europe.
Likewise.
And thank you for watching World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.